Are we still getting a pair of brand new cinema cameras in the rumored C50 and the C90? Two cameras that we haven't heard about in many years. And what about a refresh of the C200 and the C700? What can we expect to get out of Canon at NAB 2023? Details coming up, but first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe, choose all notifications, like, comment, and all that good stuff. It does me a favor and it really does help this channel grow. Canon Rumours says, it's been a long time since Canon made a cinema EOS splash with a new camera body and new technologies. We think a lot of new products were either delayed or reworked. Okay, let's get the bad news out of the way. Concerning the Canon EOS C50 and the C90, two cameras that we haven't really heard about since 2020, when Canon Rumours was talking about these as being affordable cameras to be priced less and a little bit more than the C70. With the success of the Canon Cinema EOS C70, there have been suggestions of a Canon EOS C50 more recently, but we haven't been able to confirm this new information. But a lot has changed since we got those rumors of the C50 and the C90. We got the Canon EOS R5C, basically a cinema version of the Canon EOS R5. In fact, that camera has two operating systems in it. One for the Canon EOS R5, so you get the exact same capabilities as the Canon EOS R5 with a few exceptions. You don't get IBIS, of course, and of course the autofocus system in the cinema side. It's not the latest and greatest that you see in the Canon EOS R3, the R5, the R6 Mark II, and of course all the new Canon cameras. And there's also been a rumor about Canon doing the exact same thing with a more affordable camera in the R7, the R7C, like Sony did with the FX3 as a cinema version or a video-centric version of the A7S III, and then later for $1,798, the FX30, which is an APS-C version of the FX3. It makes an awful lot of sense for Canon to actually take the Canon EOS R7 and make a video-centric or cinema version of that camera, and it's going to drop the price significantly compared to that of the Canon EOS R5C, but that's just me conjecturing and speculation. According to Canon Rumours, a cinema version of the R7, well, that's still in the books. But as far as the C50 and the C90, I think we can, well, let's go ahead and assume that those cameras are no longer available. They're not going to happen, and if that changes, well, make sure you subscribe because I'll keep you up to date on that. But now it's time to take a look at the Canon C700 II. While this post didn't provide any leaked specifications for this camera, just about 3 months ago, Canon Rumours provided us with these specifications for the Canon C700 II. First up is user swappable sensors. That's right, we get user swappable sensors, and two choices right off the bat include a 5K Super 35 with a global shutter. I'm not interested in global shutter or want more than 5K. Well, you can also get 8K, but that's going to be with the rolling shutter, no global shutter. So if a global shutter is really important to you, you can get that with a 5K sensor, and if you don't really care about that too much, well, then you can get the 8K user swappable sensor. The camera comes with a direct RF mount, which can be topped with an EF or LPL mount. The whole mount can be assembled on top of the RF mount and mounted to the camera much the same way that Sony did with the Venice 2 camera. Along with the introduction of the C700 II, we get the introduction of two new gamma curves. Canon Log 4, which is designed for HDR productions, and for cinema productions, we get that YDR Cin. We also get a bunch of new codecs. XF-ABC, ProRes, and Cinema Raw Lite can all be recorded internally. B-RAW and ProRes RAW can externally be recorded with the Blackmagic Video Assist and the Atomos Ninja Plus. Cinema Raw, with a codec CDX36150 and a new module recorder developed in partnership with Red Digital Cinema, can be used to record red code to proprietary media. We get 4 SDI outputs, and in terms of storage, I like this. We get dual CF Express Type B card slots, along with a UHS-2 card slot, 3 card slots with the C700 II. And in terms of looks, well, the C700 II is supposed to look similar to what we see in the C300 III. And in terms of where is this camera right now, well, according to the rumor back in November, it's in prototype testing, so this is really good news. And I get a sense that what we're hearing in this rumor here, they're pretty close to actually what we'll get to see announced in NAB 2023. Well, at least fingers crossed, because remember back in 2020, around the same time, we were hearing that we were going to get a bunch of new cinema cameras and they were rated as a CR3, but then of course the whole world hit the brakes, and yeah, we haven't really had much in terms of cinema cameras other than the R5C, which for many isn't a real cinema camera because it doesn't have internal ND filters. And here's an earlier look at what Canon Rumours said we'd get to see in the C700 Mark II. 240 frames per second in 6K, and there's no mention of 6K in these specifications. Also 120 frames per second in 8K, and a similar body style to the Cinema C500 Mark II, very similar to what we're hearing this time around. And of course the same thing about the EF and PL mount versions, having an RF mount underneath, and that Canon will use EU V2 features built into the body. And now for an update on the C200 Mark II. Like the C700, we didn't get any updated specifications in this story from Canon Rumours, but if we go back to November 2022, we got the following leaked specifications. The exact same Super 35 4K DGO sensor that we find in the C70, the C300 Mark III. It also has an RF mount, and in terms of video specs, it can do 4K up to 120 frames per second. It can do Cinema Raw Light, XF AVC, and MP4. It has dual UHS 2 SD card slots that are capable of taking advantage of the V90 cards, and that allows you to get today with the Angelbird V90 SD cards up to 260 sustained write speeds, so that's pretty impressive on an SD card. Normally you don't see those speeds, and their V60 cards, well, they'll give you up to 140 megabytes per second sustained. It's going to have a modular design, similar look and feel, well, similar look, I don't know about the feel, to the Panasonic BS1H. And in terms of SDI connector, it's going to have a Type A, and it's going to have SDI 12G output. And that pretty well sums it up for the Canon C200 Mark II and the C700 Mark II, and of course the C50 and the C90. But we're also supposed to get a bunch of lenses, RF lenses, cinema lenses, designed for these cameras, also coming out at NAB. So NAB is looking to be a pretty exciting event for Canon. Does that mean we're not going to get any other rumored cameras between now and then? We're not going to get a Canon, well, R5 Mark II? I'd say that if we're going to get the Canon EOS R5 Mark II this year, it's definitely going to happen after NAB 2023, although I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of leaks or teasers right around NAB like, well, Canon did back in NAB 2020, back in April of 2020. And of course, one other camera that we might get before NAB 2023, and that's the Nikon Z8. Rumors are saying from Nikon Rumours that the Nikon Z8 should be coming out sometime around late April to early May. Well, I can't see them doing it right at around the same time as NAB 2023, so we could get it before NAB 2023 or after NAB in early May. Probably around the same time we could get an announcement from Canon for the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. But yeah, it's looking to be a really exciting time. Now, of course, according to Nikon Rumours, and well, actually, this is actually coming from Nikon Philippines, there's an important date coming up. Save the date, and that's March the 25th, 2023. And what I think we're going to start to see on that date is we're going to get teasers for the Nikon Z8 like we did get for the Nikon Z9. But not everybody agrees with me. Some people think we're going to get the Nikon Z6 Mark III or some other cameras. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and let me know which Canon camera you're looking forward to being announced around NAB 2023. And if you want to stay up to date on all the latest camera news and rumors, specifically what we're supposed to be getting from Canon at NAB 2023, well then please do yourself and me a favor by clicking subscribe and choosing all notifications. By choosing all notifications, as soon as I publish a new video like this one here, you'll get notified, but make sure you check your trash folder or your junk folder, because sometimes those messages coming from YouTube, well, they get trapped as spam. And if you want to help support this channel, please consider using my affiliate links down below, and follow me on Twitter for all the minor camera news and rumors, all the camera news and rumors that aren't big enough to have their own separate video. But that's it for now. Have yourself a great day and a great week. We'll see you again soon.